Hello everyone! Welcome back to my channel, youtube.com/morgokamaya. I also have a website and it's called thevisualtraveler.net. What do I mostly talk about, both in my website and in my channel? It's all about Philippine history, culture, society, my Filipiniana collection of books, and also other book forms, not just limited to Filipiniana. I also love talking about my Funko Pop collection or sharing my Funko Pop collection. But in today's episode of my vlog, I'll be sharing with you some of my finds, in Vibal Publishing. I love shopping online with Vibal Group. It's a local publishing company here in the Philippines, and they, in the past 2 years that I've been purchasing books from them online, I've discovered a lot of books that they publish in terms of Philippine art, history, and also talking about society, Philippine society. I think I should have a Suki card or a loyalty card from Vibal, because I've been talking a lot about them, and advertising the books that they have, especially in this quarantine period, the start of the quarantine up until now. I've almost doubled my collection, my book collection from them. Anyway, the focal point for this episode is all about readings in Philippine art. So we'll be talking, or I'll be sharing with you 3 personalities that figured prominently in the Philippine art scene and in Philippine art history, as well as an art form that is celebrating its 100 years, in the Philippines. Right? So let's start off with the first personality, Porita Kalaw-Ledesma. So who is Porita Kalaw-Ledesma? So the life and times of Porita Kalaw-Ledesma. I bought this in the online shop of Vibal for about, let me just double check the price right now. It's 2,200. It's hardbound. Again, it's a great investment, for Philippine art enthusiasts. This is a great investment, and I'll share with you why. I'll read some of the excerpts from the book description just to give you an idea of what's inside of the book. Right? So, Porita Kalaw-Ledesma was the founder of the Art Association of the Philippines, right? Together with Arturo Luz, Fernando Zobel, and Roberto Chabé. She can be considered as one of the true luminaries and tastemakers of her time. She was able to influence, the development of Philippine art for more than 5 decades after the war, and well into the postmodern era. So the content of the book came from her extensive museum-worthy art collection, her archives consisting of 83 volumes of journal and magazine clippings, art exhibition invitations, posters, and artist correspondence. So 4 art scholars and critics came about, they've came out with the book. They wrote articles and put them together, to talk about the life and times of Porita Kalaw-Ledesma. Right. So before I show you the inside of the book and why I would recommend this for art enthusiasts, just to give you a brief background, Porita Kalaw-Ledesma is the daughter of Teodoro M. Kalaw. And who is Teodoro M. Kalaw? So if you're from Manila, as in the city of Manila, and you also love going to Luneta Park, there is an avenue. It's called Kalaw Avenue. That was named after her father, Teodoro M. Kalaw. Why? Well, Teodoro M. Kalaw used to be one of the earliest directors of the National Library, which is located on Kalaw Avenue. Plus, he was also a prominent politician and journalist, as well as writer, during the American colonial period. Right? Unfortunately, he died early. I think he died in the 1940s. either before the war or right after the war. I mean, World War II. Right? And then, Porita Kalaw's mother is Pura Villanueva, before she became Kalaw. And Pura Villanueva was the first ever Manila Carnival Queen. I think it was in either 1921 or 23, between 1921 to 23, that she became the Manila Carnival Queen. And then, so Pura and Teodoro had 3 children. One was, of course, Porita, named after her mom. And then Teodoro Jr., as well as Eva. Okay, so Eva, am I correct? Was Eva the daughter, or let me just double check, just to, because there is also an Eva Kalaw. I'm not sure if Eva was the daughter or the wife. I can't remember. Wait, let me double check. I'm so sorry. Sometimes our memory fail us. Let me just double check. Just want to make sure that I have the correct information. So Pura Garcia Villanueva was the mom. Maria, it's not Maria. Eva Kalaw is the wife of Teodoro Jr., who became a senator in the 1950s and 60s. Alright. So Maria Kalaw was the other daughter. Okay? Aside from being a successful writer, Maria Kalaw Katigbak was also elected a senator during the 4th Congress of the Philippines, 1962 to 1965. And then she also became Miss Philippines during the 5th National Beauty Contest. Right. So, what an amazing pedigree, no? Again, because of your family influence, your family history, there's a drive, an inner drive to do well and to contribute to society. Alright, so just to show you a photo, I hope it's clear, right? So that's her mom when she was hailed Manila Carnival Queen, and then I think the other one is her sister. Okay, 5th, what do you call this? The 5th Miss Philippines during the 5th National Beauty Contest. Okay, I'm so sorry. Pura Garcia Villanueva was crowned in 1908, not 1921. 1908 as the first Carnival Queen. And then her daughter Maria Kalaw, for the 5th National Beauty Contest held by the Manila Carnival, was in 1931. Okay, so I don't know why I thought of 1921. Alright, maybe I got mixed up with the dates. But again, her mom, okay, 1908, and then the daughter was in 1931, right? What about Porita? Did she join any contest? Well, according to her history, she did not join any contest, but she has an early inclination to the arts as well, specifically to visual arts. So, before she was sent by her father, to the US to have further studies, she was actually enrolled in School of Fine Arts. Now, UP, School of Fine Arts. It was called at the time Escuela de Bellas, right? It became the future School of Fine Arts. And this was in the early 1930s. Her mentors or tutors were Guillermo Tolentino, Fernando Amorsolo, and of course, the father of all, Philippine art, Fabian de la Rosa. Imagine that those were your mentors and tutors, right? And to show you, right, there was an actual sketch. No, not just a sketch, but a painting that Fabian de la Rosa made of Porita. Look at that. She's so beautiful, no? This was made by Fabian de la Rosa. The great Fabian de la Rosa, no? The father of Philippine Philippine art, I would say. One of the fathers, right? And then her classmates here, just to show you a family photo. So her father, Teodoro M. Kalaw, wow, no, white suit, and her mother and their other relatives. Now, I think it was in a family reunion. Okay, and then she had 4 daughters. No? So when she married Rafael Ledesma, they had 4 daughters as well. They had 4 daughters, right? So aside from Fabian de la Rosa, like what I mentioned, and Amorsolo and Tolentino, her other classmate was Carlos Francisco, or Carlos Botong Francisco. We'll talk a little about Botong Francisco later on, right? And this is a sketch that Botong Francisco did of Porita Kalaw, right? Okay. She wasn't able to finish her schooling in UP School of Fine Arts because she was sent to the US, and that's where she got her diploma and I think a masteral degree as well, no, during that time. And then when she came back, she got married, and then became very active in the arts. So I'm gonna show you some of the inside, of the book. Alright. Sorry, I'm talking a lot about Porita Kalaw, and we still have about 3 more books, okay? But just to show you, again, some of these are from her collection, so you have some open, right? Okay? So again, I highly recommend, again, if you are a collector of Philippine art, history art books, for 2,200 pesos. This is, I would really highly recommend you to have this. Okay. Alright, so our next art celebrity that we're going to talk about is actually related to Porita Kalaw-Ledesma, and I already mentioned his name, and that would be Carlos Botong Francisco. So they were in the School of Fine Arts in UP at the same time, in the early 1930s. Similarly as well, Botong Francisco was not able to finish his schooling in UP. He left early. He came from Angono, Rizal, and because of family circumstances, he had to leave school and start working, which often then not happens, not just during the time, but also even today. You have to leave school and then start earning your keep, in order to help out your family. Okay. So Botong Francisco, again, the life and art. So in this case, the life and art of Botong Francisco. I had to wait almost 2 years to buy a copy of this. Okay. When I started collecting Vibal books in 2018, I already saw this being sold, but I wasn't interested at the time. I don't know why. And then later that year, when my interest grew, and I wanted to buy a copy. Unfortunately, it was out of stock or out of print. Just imagine, I had to wait 2 years in order to get a copy. Okay, so Botong Francisco is known for his murals. I'm so glad that the National Museum was able to borrow the murals from the city of Manila as well as from the Philippine General Hospital. The Filipino struggles, or the history of Manila murals, and then the history of medicine from Philippine General Hospital. Hopefully, when the quarantine, or when COVID-19 finally, I don't know what will happen, but once we go back to the new normal, if museums will be open again, I highly recommend again that you visit the National Museum. It's for free, and you'll be able to see the works of Botong Francisco. So the National Museum of Fine Arts have a significant number of works of Botong Francisco. It's not just limited to the city of or history of Manila, right, or the PGH. He also had some, I think more or less additional about 3 paintings, being displayed in the National Museum. 2 of those is the Mass at Limasawa, and then the other one is Magellan in Cebu, no? When Magellan gifted the Santo Niño to the Cebuano chieftains, right? Right. Anyway, so Botong Francisco, let me just go over some of the descriptions. A veritable folk hero in his hometown of Angono and one of the most important Filipino artists, Botong Francisco devoted his life to art. After spending the 1930s immersed in graphic art and modernism, Botong embarked on large-scale mural painting for which he became renowned. Okay. This lavish art book contains the richest collection of Botong's masterpieces, whether in large or small-scale formats. The vast selection of his most important paintings, sketches, and costume designs is beautifully supplemented by vintage photographs, documents, and film stills from over 30 public and private collections. And what I love about looking at Botong Francisco here is that he's so James Dean, you know, because his outfit consisted of denim, a lot of denim. And there's actually a Botong Francisco museum in Angono, Rizal. So, but Angono is so far, no, from Manila. But again, it's very much alive. His legacy is very much alive. There is a uniqueness in terms of how he rendered his art. So, let me just show you some of it. So here, right? So this is currently displayed. Again, this is part of the mural, no? History of Manila, or Filipino struggle through history. Right. So here, let me just show you some more. Okay. Very famous painting as well. Okay. You know, it's depicting Filipino scenes. So this was the pilgrimage to Antipolo. This one. This is in the Lopez Memorial Museum. Another museum that I would like to visit, no? Once we are in the new normal. What else? I know that there are, so here, no? Snippets or cartouches of his work. Okay. He did a Pio Valenzuela versus Dr. Jose Rizal in the Pitan. Oil and Canvas, National Historical Institute. Oh, wow. So there really was, no? I hope it's a bigger photo. I try to look for that online, no? It's so nice. I like the colors, the rendering, you know, the composition of it, of his works. That's why I really wanted to purchase this, no, and have this part of my collection. Okay, famous fiesta scene. So colorful, no, so vibrant. Even if it's just copied on a photograph or printed in the book, very vibrant. He also did movie posters, of course, no. During that time, I love going back. This is something that I would like to collect, no, movie posters and film stills of those 50s and 60s or even the 40s, where it's all hand painted. This one. Okay, if you're also a fan of Van Gogh, this looks familiar, no? This is actually, he really did admit that this was a homage to Van Gogh. Van Gogh's Potato Eaters. So instead of Potato Eaters, I think this is rice, the Rice Eaters. No? Give us this day. So, Botong Francisco's homage to Van Gogh's Potato Eaters. Right? When I saw this, I immediately said, no, it looks familiar to or similar to Van Gogh. Right? It's not a direct copy, no. It's just a homage. All right, next one. I've in a previous episode of my blog, I've talked about Domingo. I actually have the hardbound, you know, the bigger or the expanded version, but I could not resist having a copy of their 50 Shades of Philippine Art. this is only for 440 pesos, right? 440 pesos. But again, it's very comprehensive. You have photographs of Damian Domingo's famous Tipos del Paes, right? A little history about Damian Domingo. So you don't have to actually buy, you know, if it's not within your budget, you don't actually have to buy the expanded version, the hardcover. I highly recommend you looking at 50 Shades of Philippine Art. They have the composite or the short form, no, of those hardbound books. Eventually, I think that Vibal might come up with, you know, a 50 Shades of Philippine Art for Botang Francisco. I would hope, no, that they would come up with it, because this hardbound one for Botang Francisco is about 2,700. So it's a little expensive, no, when you think about it. But again, if it's something that you really want to have, you're a fan of Botang Francisco or Philippine Art, I would highly recommend you purchase that. But not, they do have versions, no? So who is Damian Domingo? Damian Domingo is actually the other father of Philippine art. Particularly in the 19th century, he really was the one who started having an art school in the Philippines. No, it was only in the 19th century that Philippine artists became recognized. No, the Philippine art form started. It started in travelogues or in Tipos del Paes, no, scenes of the countryside, wherein they're commissioned, no, to create albums of what you see, because again, there was no camera at the time. So the best way to really know the place is to have copies of the life, no, the life and times of Filipinos at the time. So Damian Domingo was the proponent of that. And then came in Honorato Lozano afterwards, no? Okay, here, Damian Domingo. So this is 440 pesos. And finally, another art form, but it's not a personality, a celebrity, but because we are celebrating the 100 years of Philippine cinema. So 1922 to 2000. Philippine cinematic art, right? So all about visual art, no, visualizing the storyline. So I also would recommend this. It's also part of the 50 Shades of Philippine Art inventory or collection of Vibal, right? And again, so what does it look like? So a lot of scenes, no, Philippine art scenes. From story to storyboard to film reel or digital video. How did it come about, right? So a short description, that cinema is the art of the 20th century, right? Not only because of its limitless ability to mimic reality, but also due to its transformative powers of turning what was once private public, becoming in effect not just an artistic medium, but also the creator and harbinger of cultural fantasy. So this is really what I like about Vibal books, no? Really a lot of visual photos, talks about directors, movie scenes, different topics, okay? So what's the chapters like, no? Just to give you an idea. They're actually coming up with another book about Philippine cinema. But for this, so you have understanding and appreciating Philippine film, deconstructing the nation, cinematic bodies, celebrification and simulacra, turning perception into reality, manonood at manunuri, making the Filipino audience. So those are the topics of discussion in this book. Okay. So again, what are the 4 books that I highly recommend for you to have in your Philippine art book collection? You have Philippine Cinematic Art, the Damian Domingo book, okay, Botong Francisco, and Porita, Kalaw-Ledesma. Right? So thanks everyone for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe. Hit the like button. Subscribe to my channel. Give me a feedback on what other topics that you'd like to discuss about Philippine history, culture, society, and even books. Whether it's about the Philippines or international books. Right? So thank you once again for visiting my channel and watching this video. I'm so sorry it's so long because I got so excited about talking about Philippine art, and I would say it is now within grasp of us, ordinary mortals. It's not just limited to the highfalutin, high society part of the Philippines, but also us, middle class, masa. It's within our reach, right? That's one thing that I really would want to have. 10 years ago, 20 years ago, I could not have dreamt that I would be able to own any of these art books. I could only see them inside of the library, but now I do have them. Right? It's in my possession. It's part of my collection, and it's something that I can pass on to the next generation. Right? So again, thank you everyone for watching. Stay safe, take care, bye.